Welcome to Books, Booze, and Murder. I'm Anna.
I'm Alexa.
We're two besties who love to read and have an obsession with true crime.
And it's birthday month.
It is your birthday month.
Always fun.
I mean, we have Leo and we have Scorpio. Oh boy.
Scorpios win. Most of the time.
This is why we get along, because we're just like,
Intense
crazy
humans.
together. But happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. We like birthday month.
Yes. Yes, we do.
I've never been the person to actually celebrate the month of birthday, but you know what? We're going to go with it. Because of course, my birthday is beginning of the month. So it's like, as soon as it passes, it's like, your birthday already happened now.
Whatever.
I've just never celebrated birthday month.
Honestly, I haven't either, but as I get older, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Birthday month.
That's fair.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm celebrating the entire time, but I will flaunt it.
That's okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. That works. Might as well as we get older.
Yeah. Celebrate the little things.
Small victories.
But then again, there's some people who are like, shh, I don't want anyone to know my birthday.
I totally know people that are like that as well because they don't like the attention.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, I don't like the attention when it comes to singing. I'm like, no.
That's fair.
No. But give me all the gifts.
That's fair too. There's nothing wrong with that.
So, what you got for me this month, girly?
All right. Well, we have The Black Death of a Drink. It is literally called The Black Death.
Well, honestly, it's kind of fitting, not going to lie.
Right? It's great.
For what we have in store.
So it is 2 ounces of dark rum. So I used Black Seal.
Mm-hmm.
1 ounce of, I waffled back and forth of should I use blackberry liqueur or blackberry brandy. So I used blackberry brandy today. So we'll see how that turns out. Pomegranate juice, Angostura bitters, and soda water.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you find this recipe?
Pinterest, man.
Pinterest is so good.
Mm-hmm. I love Pinterest. All things Pinterest.
While I have cookbooks, Pinterest is the go-to for recipes.
Yeah, seriously.
Cocktails. Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Well, cool. I'm excited.
Yay.
Yay.
Woo,
All right.
woo.
Well, I hit stuff.
Well, yeah.
That I'm not even drunk yet, and I can't even.
One sip and it's gotcha.
That tastes dangerous.
Oh, goody.
Oh, shit.
Very exciting.
Well, this is going to be a fucked up episode, at least on my end. So.
Well, I feel like this is a little bit of a heavier episode because this book was a little bit heavier than what we usually do as well.
Yeah.
It's got rings a lot of truth.
It does.
For a lot of people.
But that's why I've always appreciated like your book picking skills, because we go from like, this is fun, this is carefree, to, oh, we're gonna get really fucked up. Like July. Oh, July was brutal with the berry pickers.
The berry pickers was rough. That was a rough one. It was good. It was rough.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we may as well drink to get through it.
Amen to that. And with that, let's get started.
Yes, let's go.
So this month, All the Things We Lost by Liz Trenow. God bless you, Liz, because I think this probably was a labor of love in and of itself. So this book, it was about learning from your past, and boy, did Jess have a hard lesson to learn. But when I started reading this book, I'm thinking, at least she learned it instead of never learning. That's a huge, got to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Jess is an Army combat paramedic veteran. So she was in the Army. She was a combat paramedic. And now she's left the Army and she's kind of trying to find her own way amongst the paramedic EMT universe. Who comes home after a tour in Afghanistan, sees some stuff, and is not the same. Oh, excuse me. She enlisted for her friend who lost his life in the war efforts because she believed she could make a difference for the people that didn't receive the necessary life-saving medical help in the field. On her tour, she nearly lost her life when she was caught in a field trying to evacuate a patient. And she remembers looking up, seeing a poppy flower right in front of her face, covering her head for a second, and then looking up again, and the poppy was gone, blown off by a bullet that was definitely meant for her life. After she comes home, her boyfriend Nate is patient, loving, accepting of Jess, even with the amount that she has changed. She is quick to temper, drinking way too much, and having awful nightmares. She cannot seem to drag her mind out of the battlefield and is terrified. This causes some tension between her and Nate has to put his foot down on more than one occasion and even has to break up with Jess and have them take a step back from their relationship. Jess has to move out of Nate's apartment with him and moves in with 2 of her other Army buddies who are still in the service but visit her parents at every opportunity. On one of her visits home to see her parents, whom she downplays her condition to, her mother mentions some diaries that her great-grandmother Rose kept after the First World War. Jess starts reading these journals, and we start to see a pattern between Jess and her great-grandfather Alfie and how Rose is trying to be patient with him and help in any way she can. This is how their story goes. Rose and Alfie got married shortly after Alfie was to be deployed to the trenches in the First World War. Rose starts these journals the summer the war is winding down. Alfie is supposed to be coming home any day now, just cleaning up a couple of the local villages for people. He has escaped the trenches unharmed when Rose's brothers, Johnny and Raymond, both lost their lives in the trenches. However, Alfie does, unfortunately, find a mine that had not detonated with some of his friends while clearing villages. And while Alfie loses his leg, most of his friends lose their lives during that one mine explosion. Alfie has been transported back home to a special hospital for amputees and is fitted for a prosthetic and is able to return home in a few months' time. He is ashamed of his stump at first, which I think is relatively normal.
Yeah.
But has a hard time adjusting to the new demands of life. Rose worked in a factory all through the war to support war efforts, but now those jobs are changing and being saved for returning soldiers, so she is out of work. Alfie is not able to find work along with 3 million other people at the time, so Rose and Alfie have to make do with sharing a room in one of their parents' houses. It becomes quickly apparent that her old childhood twin-size bed will not be big enough and convinces her mother to let them share the boys' room with a little doing. Because remember, both boys passed away.
Yes.
That mother is devastated.
Yep.
Absolutely ripped apart and barely ever goes in the boys' room anyways, unless she's going in there to cry her bloody eyes out.
Yeah, and it was still a shrine too, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, broke my heart.
Oh, it was awful. Just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Rose's father starts to think about his butcher shop, which has been in the family for generations, and with no more boys around to take over the shop, he offers the job to Alfie, who is hesitant about working with raw meat. Rose cannot understand why he would turn down a good job like that without consideration for their future as a couple. She has recently found a job in a mending factory, but when she realizes that she is pregnant, her boss has her fired because expecting women are clumsy and a liability.
Ugh.
You're obviously not allowed to do that anymore.
Yep.
But that was the times. By this point, Rose has noticed some severe nightmares from Alfie and that he is drinking way too heavily. Like to the point where she's concerned he's burning through his 70% pension that he is getting from the government.
Yep.
Rose and Alfie have also found a 1-bedroom apartment for themselves, but are still struggling to make ends meet. Understandably.
Yep.
This is because Alfie cannot work for Rose's father. He tried but could not stomach touching the raw meat and also got into a tussle with Rose's father, easily angered.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Alfie and his father do business together and sell secondhand furniture that Alfie's sister's boyfriend, Claude.
Oh, Claude is the worst.
He's a terrible, awful human. Is helping them out with. Now, nobody likes Claude.
No.
They all think he is slimy and scummy and up to no good. Except for Frida, who is obviously Alfie's sister and Rose's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Who is head over heels in love with this man.
Like, girlfriend, no.
Like, stereotypical, I'm so in love, there's nothing wrong with him. It's got to be something else.
Yep.
It's not him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweetheart.
Yep.
Okay. He gives her all the nice things that she wants and even gets engaged to her. Now, we already know that the Alfie does not like Claude. because he refuses to be in the same room as the man, will not go out dancing with his wife and sister if Claude will be there, because they have already had their own little fisticuff moments.
Yep, they did.
Alfie kind of put him on his butt. Jump back forward in time to Jess for a minute, who is trying to continue to still work as a paramedic in the civilian world, but finds it more difficult than she can handle. She encounters drunk idiots urinating on her and terrible accidents that she feels she has failed in, and a life was lost because of it. She does not think being a paramedic is her path anymore, but it's the only job training that she has. Jess does end up resigning from her job to see if she can find something else. She is continuing to drink way too much, but started to see a counselor, which didn't last long either, since how could this person understand what I have been through?
Mm-hmm.
Very similar mindset, I think, there for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Jess even goes to a wedding for a friend of Nate's, but ends up getting shit-faced when an unexpected guest makes an appearance, is super flirty with Nate, and Jess immediately jumps to conclusions, thinking Nate and this other woman have a past, and drinks to excess and makes a fool of herself. Now, mind you, they're living separately now, but they're trying to make it work.
Yep.
But yeah.
She's not able to handle her shit. Nate's like, no, I want to make this work.
Yeah, it's like they both want to make it work. It's the love of their life, blah, 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 blah. But obviously, you can't do a lot if your significant other isn't helping themselves either.
Yep, absolutely.
So Nate gives her cab fare, tells her to go home. Flashback to Alfie and Rose. Claude is a scammer and a thief. All of the furniture that he gave to the Barkers was stolen. Claude is on the lam, and Alfie and his father could be in a lot of trouble. They eventually strike a deal with the police that when Claude is apprehended, they will testify against him in court. Now, before Claude has run off, we realize that Frida is pregnant out of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're engaged doesn't mean you can't be more careful about it, sweetheart.
Yep.
Which back in the day was a big no-no.
Yeah.
Big, big no-no. As the court date comes closer, so they finally catch Claude, bring up the court date, blah, blah, blah. They receive threats to not testify, and they still do, but Claude gets off free because the other witnesses were scared, and Alfie had a little bit of an outburst in court. Claude runs away to France. Frida joins him with their new baby, and Alfie is out of work again. He has come to the point where he does not want to look for work anymore. He feels beaten down and defeated. Rose has returned to work at the mending factory and has met a new friend named Walter who works at the poppy factory, which was started to help out veterans work after the war was over and help them find meaning. So it's literally just like making the little poppies, because I guess at the end of World War I, they obviously had the Armistice Day, and there was a big deal, and there was all these people that were making like fake poppy flowers, and that was their sign of Armistice Day. Days like this day, this awful day is, we're recognizing it, and it's come to an end, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
That way back when it first started, everything stopped.
Yeah.
For like a solid 2 minutes. The train stopped, the buses stopped, the cars stopped. All the people just stopped moving. Like, how eerie would that have been?
I mean, we can kind of picture it when COVID started.
A little bit, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Like, I almost equate it to when we have a moment of silence in schools for like September 11th or Veterans Day or any of those types of days. But it's still like everything stops.
Mm-hmm.
The whole entire city of like London stops moving. It's crazy.
We're so used to movement. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good though.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's this factory now that makes poppies. And it's right across from the mending factory. So Rose obviously gets her job back after she's had her baby. And baby stays home with Alfie or goes to her mother's house. And we'll get into that too.
Mhm.
So Rose finds herself enjoying Walter's company because he makes her laugh and smile, which she has not done in a very long time. Of course, with Rose going to work, that means that her son Johnny needs someone to watch him. Most days it's her mother because Alfie claims to be out looking for work, but we come to realize that Alfie is just doing a lot of drinking.
Yes.
Every now and then he'll keep Johnny home and he brings Johnny to the pub or does not attend to him at all. I think there was at least a few times in the book where Rose says, come home and he has a sopping wet nappy just around his ankle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're a better person than I am, Rose, because I would have lost my mind a long time ago.
I give her so much credit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk a little bit more like when you're done.
Yeah.
I give her so much credit.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to chat a little bit. One late night, Rose comes home after an overnight shift and sees Alfie shaking Johnny because he won't stop crying. Rose immediately throws him out of their apartment and thinks their marriage is over. That sucks.
Yeah.
Now, Frida makes her way back home after Claude gets caught in another scam.
Shocker.
Go figure. She is convinced he will never return and realizes the error of her ways. She tries to help Rose and Alfie reconcile their marriage, but it's difficult when Rose has agreed to meet Walter for tea and is almost disloyal in her marriage. The truth does eventually come out that Rose and Walter are just friends and enjoy each other's company, but Alfie finds it hard to believe. Alfie has found demeaning work as a match salesman. And will not even think about looking into working at the poppy factory.
That was so frustrating.
It's so frustrating.
Stop being stubborn.
However, he does end up getting into a tussle with Walter outside of the factory, which of course Rose hears about. And when they talk to the major in charge, the major is able to offer Alfie a job, and we find out that Rose is pregnant again. Rose and Alfie learn to talk to each other again, and Alfie is able to find his sense of worth.
It's about time.
So that was a happy end to the story.
Yep. Well, for them.
For them. In present day, Jess recognizes all the signs that Alfie had in herself and is finally honest with her mother and her friends. She goes for another evaluation, is completely honest with the medical staff, and she is diagnosed with PTSD, which she is able to be properly treated for. She is taking life one step at a time and again, and has even reached back out to Nate, completely sober for 1 month, and tries to reignite their relationship.
Good.
And then not to mention Frida and Walter, I think, end up getting together at the end
They
of that
do.
cute little story, which I
They
love too.
I was like, oh, so good.
What a great ending to that cute little story. Yeah, that was definitely a more serious story than we've had.
Yeah, absolutely. But so my first question for you, and I've asked you this before, where did you find this book?
I'm trying to remember. I really feel like I found it at, we had like a book swap almost for the teachers on one of the very last days of school.
Okay.
Not this past school year, but the school year before that. And I think I found it in that, like, and I was just like, ooh, this sounds good. Ooh, this sounds good. Ooh, this sounds good. I was totally that person where I just grabbed as many books as I possibly could. That sounded really good.
I mean, that does sound like you. That sounds like us.
Yes. So I think that was in one of those books, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Because it had never come across my radar. I was like, if it wasn't for you, I probably never would have read the book because I wouldn't have known it existed. Like, I feel like it's really underrated, actually.
It is a really underrated book. And I feel like you can definitely even dive a little bit deeper into that story. But I love how it's written, and it's a short little read, and you just kind of breeze through it.
It was up your alley, wasn't it?
It's totally up my alley. I love my historical fiction.
Yes, you do. I was like, oh, this is so up her alley. But I think it is important to recognize, you had mentioned London. This is all in Great Britain. So I'm so used to books taking place in the United States that it took me a minute to be like, oh, we're not in the United States. Oh, this is fun. but the format wasn't at all what I expected. Like
No,
how it's not just chapter to chapter bouncing around, it's chunks of time.
it's big chunks of time.
Yeah.
It's like it's all Jess's story for a hot minute, and then it's all reading of Rose's diaries. Like it's journals 1 through 3 for an entire chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to Jess's story, and then it's like 4 and 5, and then we finish with the last one, obviously.
Yeah. No, it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I almost don't even want to know how much research went into it.
Oh
or
my
like
gosh, right?
with the author, like, was there any experience with it? Like, I don't know. I just feel like with the depth of PTSD, like you have to have some level of experience with it.
You got to know something about it for sure. You have to be able to talk to the professionals and figure that out. And especially back in World War I when it was just called shell shock. And they didn't really understand that this manifests in a lot of different ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even now in 2025, like there's still so much work to be done.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we're also light years ahead, I think.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And it's funny looking at my notes. My note about Claude was fuck Claude.
I did not like him.
No, not at all. But I also thought Frida was a bit of an idiot for most of the book as well.
She was a naive, 18, 19-year-old girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Frida, you cannot see these signs in front of you, can you? What the hell?
But like, no one's going to tell you, no one's going to tell her otherwise
Yeah.
either. No one can, or else she's just going to be lost to France like she already was anyway.
Yeah, true. But it also made me wonder, like, am I just used to strong female characters? And I'm reading about weaker? I don't know if that's the right word, but weaker female characters, and it's bothering me. I don't know.
Just kind of like bury your head in the sand back in the 1920s, 1910s, I think.
10s, 20s, 30s.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like those women that were then, it was just, oh, I found my love. I
Mhm.
found him. It's like, yeah, there are still some of those women around nowadays, but you don't write about them, I guess.
Yeah. No, you don't. I don't think, at least from what I've read a lot about that. And when it came to Nate, I thought his patience, like, he was a saint.
He was saintly.
Yeah.
He was definitely like, you're getting into the kingdom of heaven, buddy.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And I loved how the characters were diverse. Like, I'm thinking like Storygraph, where the characters diverse. And I would say a bit because Nate is a man of color. And I was like, oh, and Jess is the typical Brit, like in my mind, granted, American perspective of redhead, right?
Yes, she was a redhead.
Yeah, redhead. But Jess's drinking drove me nutty at social gatherings. I'm like, Jess, you are hijacking. But again, that's the result of PTSD.
Exactly. You're trying to numb everything. And when you get to the point of numbing everything, then you can't stop. It's a huge issue.
And I really trying to find the right word. When it came to Alfie, I was like, Alfie, let go of your pride for a little bit. It doesn't make you weak. Get your shit together.
That's the other hard part too.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, that's all he has left at that point.
Yeah.
Like he feels, I can't, like there are points where he can't wear his leg. So it's like, yeah, I'm obviously an amputee. So, and this is not what a man is. He said it multiple times too, where it's like, I'm not a man. Why would you, like, why are you still with me?
Yeah.
You need to go and find yourself a real man. And it's like,
no,
bro,
you are a real man.
Bro, like you're way too hard on yourself.
100%. Yeah.
Day and age though.
Yeah. But then like Rose was just like Superwoman keeping it all together. I loved her and loving Alfie the way he was, pushing to make him like make things better for them and successfully avoiding an affair.
That's huge. Huge.
I just give her so much credit for all of that. But I am glad that Jess got help in the end. But I need to know in depth, Liz, what happens with Nate and Jess.
Oh, come on.
I need to know.
Oh my goodness. It's open for interpretation. They kind of say, oh no, he didn't. He seemed very interested in you. So you should just text him and reach out.
Mhm.
So I'm going to make the assumption they're getting back together because Jess is still doing good on herself.
Yeah.
So that's just my assumption.
No, I'm gonna
Open
go
for
with that
interpretation.
too. I'm gonna go with that too. But I also think like my last note was I think it's the value of leaving behind something for future generations to be able to connect with. It
Mhm.
just solidified that even more in my head of
Mhm.
like, no, this is how powerful it is, and it could potentially be life changing.
Yeah.
This was such a good pick.
This was a good pick.
This is so good.
This was totally a good pick.
Heavy.
And then what did Alfie end up doing? It was like he was in the poppy factory for a while and then he ended up
Oh, I don't remember. It's
Ah,
been some time. Like the
crap,
big
I
details I
know.
remember. But I do know that a lot of healing happened.
a lot of healing happened working at the poppy factory. Him and Walter ended up being friendly with each other.
Yes.
Obviously because
Yeah.
Walter and Frida got together. But yeah, it's like he ended up doing I remember him saying that he worked at the poppy factory for a while and then he did something else.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but he was just so fulfilled by all of it. And
Yeah.
it was like done.
Yeah.
Work is done.
It made me so happy. Yeah. As dark as those times were, and there's
Mhm.
still so much work left to be done for PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
that healing happened, and I needed it.
Good. Glad I can do that for you.
Good job.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
All right. You ready to get your brain fucked over?
No, I'm
right.
never ready for that.
So we're going to upload pictures to Instagram with stuff.
Mhm.
But what I want you to do now that you're in front of the computer is I want you to scroll over the Chrome icon.
On the bottom?
Yep.
Okay.
And you're going to see a picture of a map. And I want you to pull that up and just let it be.
Okay.
Okay. So sources for this month include, and I started writing these out and then I forgot to continue writing them out. So I'm going to just navigate this the way I can.
Okay.
It includes the CBC, BBC News, the Canadian Encyclopedia,
Mhm.
NPR, Macleans.ca. Yes, we're going to Canada.
Mhm.
Hold on. Durhamregion.com.
Okay.
And then Northumberlandnews.com.
Okay.
So that's where I got all my information from.
Okay.
So before I begin, I want to make a blanket statement. And I kind of mentioned this when I came to the book. We are American, not
Mhm.
Canadian.
Mhm.
So if I describe a location incorrectly, I apologize in advance.
Mhm.
Clearly, with what just happened, I put Google Maps to work so I could even understand what's going on.
I understand completely.
So for anyone listening, when you look at the map of New York State, when you look north, so we're going above Ogdensburg. So for those that think upstate New York is Syracuse and Rochester, no, keep going north.
That's Western New York.
Yes, yes, it is. Keep looking up. So Ogdensburg, for any true crime fans, had the placement school for special education that got shut down. Massive crimes happened there. When you look above Ogdensburg, Ogdensburg is scary. I believe the nickname for Ogdensburg is Dirty O.
Probably.
So when you look above Ogdensburg, all the way above Rochester, all the way above Rochester, near the northern edge of Ontario, that's kind of what we're looking at. So
Mhm.
we're going kind of north to southwest.
Okay.
Again, looking at a map. That's why I have a map in front of you. And I will post this on Instagram for visual for everyone.
I see that. Okay.
Okay.
I get you. I
It's
see
kind
it.
of hard. So, and then as we go along, Alexa, if you don't have to do it right now, but
Mhm.
in the upper left-hand corner, you can see all the different towns.
Mhm.
So that can give you a visual of where it is.
Okay.
So here we go.
Yep. Okay.
After reading a lot about PTSD, I wanted to approach this month's crime from a different angle. I also wanted a case that had a bit more available information compared to last month's with all the Wicca stuff.
Fair.
So as we go along, you'll have to let me know if the story rings a bell or if it wasn't even on your radar.
Okay.
So I'm going to be covering arguably one of Canada's most notorious crime sprees, where a service member was the murderer.
Ooh, okay.
So it's November 2009, and 38-year-old Corporal Marie-France Cameau was in her home when a man broke in. He beat her head with a flashlight and raped her numerous times.
Oh.
Every time she resisted, he'd beat her again,
Mm.
all while taking photos and videos. Despite the desperate pleas to spare her life, he suffocated her by wrapping her face with duct tape, wrapped her body in a duvet, and left. She wouldn't be discovered for another 30 hours.
Oh, that's sad.
Now, this wasn't the first time that Russell Williams had broken into a house, and it wasn't the first time that he'd sexually assaulted a woman. It was, however, the first time he'd killed one of his victims. And to add an extra thorn into this situation, Russell Williams was a colonel in the Canadian Forces, and he was Cameau's commanding officer.
Oh.
This means he had access to her personal information, such as her schedule, phone number, the works. And sadly, she would not be his last murder victim.
Oh.
So Russell was born, actually, this is a good connection. It's just clicking right now. What's up with my brain? He was born in Great Britain.
Oh, okay. That works. We have a crime that's happening in November, part of the military, and he's from Great Britain. Okay. Well done already.
I wish I could say I did it on purpose, but I didn't.
Yes, say it.
I'm going to go
say
with
it.
it.
You did it on purpose. You did it on purpose. We're going with it.
Yep. So he was born in Great Britain, but when he was young, immigrated to Ontario, Canada. His childhood appeared to be quiet, and he worked his way through college, graduating with a degree in politics and business. But before he entered the Canadian Forces in 1987. From there, he steadily worked his way up through the ranks, and then in June of 1991, he married his wife, Mary Harriman. They settled in Orleans, Ontario. So when you look at that map, it's on the eastern side of Ottawa.
Yeah, I see that. It's
And
the
they-
very first point you
Yep.
have.
They stayed for 13 years before they built a home and moved 30 minutes west to Westboro, so western side of Ottawa.
Uh-huh.
In the summer of 2004, the couple purchased a cottage in Tweed, which is about 2 hours to the southwest,
Yep.
that he often spent time at, and 5 years later, at the age of 46, he became a commanding officer of the Canadian Forces base in Trenton, which is about 50 minutes-ish southwest of Tweed, and it's the largest Air Force base in Canada, so pretty big deal.
All right.
So, behind the scenes, Russell was hiding a big secret. And in 2007, he could no longer fight his sexual fetish.
Ew.
A fetish so intense, it only led to chaos and heartbreak. He began by breaking into homes in Tweed and Belleville. And so Belleville is 20 minutes east of where he worked. So it's an easy detour before going north towards his cottage. These two towns are about 30 minutes apart from one another, and all of these targets were homes to families with young girls. He'd wait until they were gone before he broke in, either through unlocked doors, by cutting window screens, forcing a window open, or picking a lock. And I know you love true crime, but I also know the level is not as high. This is some real Golden State Killer shit. Yeah. And that's one thing Michelle McNamara's book I read, and that's how I was like, oh my gosh, this is just a replica. This is scary.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
So once inside, he'd remove bras and underwear from his victims' drawers and lay them out on a bed before taking photos.
No, thank you.
When he was done, he'd steal them, and he snuck back out of the house. There were some home. Yeah, I know, right?
I don't like that.
It gets so much worse.
Of course it does.
There are some homes where he even went back a second time. By September of that year, his break-ins were not only increasing, but his actions went to a whole other level. On the evening of September 8th, when he was in Tweed, he broke into a neighbor's cottage and went after bras and underwear. Then, he put them on. And we know this because he took pictures of himself posing.
Okay, then.
And as with everything else, he stole the underwear. So if I had to look at it, I'm bringing you down with me.
I hate you. You're terrible.
So the next tab over, just click on it.
Oh, God. That's not cute.
No.
That's not cute. Like, I never know.
I'm
You just
laughing because I'm so
burned my
uncomfortable.
eyeballs.
If I had to look at it, you have to look at it.
You're awfully kind. Yucky.
Yep. And that's,
Sorry, but like,
there's no sorry there. This is
uh,
why this case has so
it's
much.
disturbing.
Yes. And that's why so many people all over the world were like, ugh, same
Mhm.
reaction. So anyway, by May of 2008, he added Orleans, so his home near Ottawa, to
Yep.
his list of hits. Now, no one from Tweed ever made a police report about break-ins at their home or missing property because they just didn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Orleans, though, was different. So out of 25 homes, 15 were reported to the Ottawa Police Department. And in response, undercover officers were posted around, but unfortunately came up with nothing.
Mm.
And that's when a detective sergeant who was a criminal profiler with the Ontario Provincial Police, or OPP, so I'll refer to it as that in the future,
Okay.
took a look at the case. He was able to see that the intruder was not only effectively able to avoid detection, but he was becoming more aggressive. So by this time, Williams had left a taunting message on a computer at one home, and at another, this is so gross,
No.
police found semen on a photo of a woman.
Ew.
So
Lovely.
this is when the profiler determined that there was an increasing danger for quote, a hands-on sexual assault, end quote. And that did indeed happen. So 4 months later...
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
4 months later, 2 women in Tweed were attacked. The first happened on the 17th and the second on the 30th. Both women had been asleep before being bound, blindfolded, sexually assaulted, and then forced to pose nude for photos.
No, thank you.
Both women did report their attacks to the police, and once the second was reported, the OPP advised the public. And this caused officers to go door to door in search of information that might lead them to what the community now called the Tweed Creeper.
Oh, okay. It's fitting, I guess.
Now, this is when we go back to Corporal Marie-France Comeau. He'd actually broken into her home on one previous occasion before the murder. And at the time, he'd parked away from her home, which was in a wooden area, and then broke in through a basement window at the rear of the house. This was done when she was away on a trip. This break-in verified for him that she lived alone, giving him the ability to stay for more than an hour and take 18 pictures of himself modeling her underwear.
Thank you. Thank you. I will never be able to get that image out of my brain now.
It's going to be worse.
Of course it is.
Before putting a sex toy in it.
Okay.
When Corporal Comeau later returned home, she noticed someone had gone through her underwear. She blamed her boyfriend for it at the time, and he obviously denied it.
Right.
On the night of her murder, November 16th, between 10:30 and 11, Williams arrived at her home. He turned off his phone and could hear her speaking on hers in the bedroom. He entered through the basement again and hid near the furnace for 30 to 40 minutes, waiting for her to go to bed. That part did not go according to plan, as she instead went on a search for her cat. And I'm not kidding you, Alexa, when I read this next part, I had chills.
Oh, no.
The cat was standing near Williams, staring at him.
Oh,
That's
good kitty, I guess.
No.
No.
That's when Comeau saw him and didn't recognize him due to his facial covering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he hit her with a flashlight and their fight began. Later, during her murder investigation, a tie and blood drops were found on the floor, supporting how violent it had become. And as you'd expect, the two fought, and Comeau fell backwards onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodstain patterns that were found were consistent with blood-soaked hair. Her wrists were then restrained using vinyl ties connected to a post in her basement. He took photos of this with only a shawl covering her before he went to her bedroom and closed the blinds. Like, this is just straight out of a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Using kitchen knives, he held her bedsheet in place and removed the night lights from the living room and spare bedroom, leaving them on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
When he was done, he went to the basement where Camo had clearly been struggling to break free.
Oh.
As he carried her upstairs, she went unconscious and he proceeded to take 4 photos of her naked on the bed.
No, thank you.
He was careful to take them from different angles, but had removed the duct tape that he'd placed over her mouth and face beforehand. According to her autopsy, she suffered at least 5 blows to the head, and photos of her were still taken as she struggled to breathe her last breaths.
That's terrible.
You're looking at me like I fucking hate
That's
you.
terrible. That's just awful. Like 5 blows to the head and there's still pictures being taken. That's just not cool.
Nope.
It's not okay. Ugh.
Then, well, you know the rest by now.
Uh-huh.
When he was done, he cleaned up the crime scene with bleach, and it was her boyfriend who found her body on November 25th. After the fact, as her commanding officer, Williams sent a condolence letter to her father.
Okay.
4 months later, in January of 2010, 27-year-old Jessica Lloyd was at her home on the treadmill in front of the window.
Mm-hmm.
We're never going to do this, by the way, because I'm forever ruined by this visual.
Okay, fair.
He was driving by her home when he noticed her. That then prompted him to return, and on January 29th, he waited in her backyard for her to go to sleep. This was after 10:30, as she'd sent a family friend a text at 10:36 before calling it a night.
Mm-hmm.
Around 1 a.m., he broke in, bound her with rope, and put duct tape on her face. He forced her to model her own lingerie as he took pictures before he raped her. This is when he changed things up, though. He parked his silver Nissan Pathfinder in a nearby field, and when he was done taking pictures and assaulting her, 3 hours later, this poor woman, he brought her to his SUV and drove to his cottage. During that drive, he told her repeatedly that if she cooperated, he'd let her go. When they arrived, he made her shower before letting her sleep for a few hours. How nice of you. Not really.
So kind. I literally don't think I've never been in this situation, but I feel like if I was ever in that type of situation, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm dead either way, and I'm going to get every bit of evidence off of you that I possibly can so that someone can find you. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I say this now, but I'm talking big words, I think.
No, I think our fight reaction would be in full swing.
I would hope so.
Especially when you talk about it, like as sick as true crime can be like this, when you talk about it and you have those ideas in your head, during your flight moment, that's when it kicks in. So, yeah. So, in a horrifying turn of events, she had a seizure and begged him to bring her to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
As she experienced convulsions, he dressed her up and untied her, all while filming her. The sick fuck.
Oh.
That's when she said the most heartbreaking things. I don't want to die, please. And if I die, will you make sure to let my mom know that I love her?
Oh, God.
Sure enough, he killed her by cracking her skull with a flashlight and strangled her with a piece of rope. Again, all of this captured on video. He then hid her body and drove back to CFB Trenton around 10 p.m. and slept before he caught an early flight to California.
Oh.
Yeah.
You poor baby. You need to sleep?
The fact that he could sleep after that.
He obviously has some serious issue.
100%. When he eventually returned to Canada, he did some work in his office before making his way home to Ottawa. On February 2nd, he got her body and then dumped her in the woods near Tweed. She was still bound with duct tape. Immediately after her murder, when Jessica didn't show up for work and it was determined that her car was home but she wasn't, she was reported missing. Police responded and quickly suspected that the sexual assaults in Tweed, Camo's murder, and Jessica's disappearance were all connected. By January 30th, the police department in Belleville asked for the public's help. That's when a massive search began, including Air Force personnel and helicopters. Of course, they're all authorized to be used by Williams. Tips certainly came in, but the Belleville Police Department had to tell the public not to send in tips via posts on Facebook. They needed to call the department.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, more than 34,000 people turned up to search for Jessica.
Wow.
A week went by and there was still no sign of her. However, a suspicious silver SUV was reported as a few neighbors had seen it parked in a field near the home on the night of her disappearance. So people are nosy in a good way. I like it.
You will go with that.
Trying to be optimistic here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's where the police found tire tracks with a tread that stood out. This, of course, narrowed down their list of cars to look for, including a Nissan Pathfinder.
Well, I would hope so.
I know, right? So at this point, the police are on high alert for a vehicle with this tread, and they did something that I actually thought was pretty genius. On February 4th, they conducted what appeared to be an evening drunk driving checkpoint, and they asked drivers questions relating to the disappearance of Jessica. They were also taking a close look at the tires. As luck would have it, Williams was stopped and told officers that he was in a hurry because he had a sick child at home. Officers at this time didn't know that that was a lie. But his tires stood out because they matched the tread they were looking for, and that was enough to have him under surveillance.
Oh, good.
So they're kind of getting it together.
Okay, I'm glad that it's not just, oh, you're some high up in the Air Force.
We're going to let you go.
Mm-hmm,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
With Williams now on the radar, digging into his background began, and that's when it was discovered that he did not, in fact, have children. That's when he was called in to talk to Ottawa police on February 7th under the guise that the detective sergeant had some loose ends to tie up. Once Williams was settled in, he was asked questions but didn't get far. And that's when pressure was applied. To help with their case, this dumbass was wearing the boots he was wearing outside of Jessica's home.
Congratulations.
Like, don't wear the same fucking shoes if you're you're going to the police department, or rather do that and get caught.
Please just do that and get caught.
Yep.
Congratulations, you're an idiot.
Yes. What Williams didn't know was at the same time as this interrogation, search warrants had been executed, and officers were searching both his cottage in Tweed and his Orleans home.
Good.
His wife was home and, needless to say, in shock.
That poor woman. I was about to say, like, did she know?
We'll get to it.
Oh, no.
As Williams was being questioned, the detective sergeant left from the room from time to time to get updates. Each time, he'd come back with more information before Williams finally gave in. That's when he was asked, all right, so where is she? Referring to Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And the response? You got a map?
Really?
Yep. A day later, Jessica's body was discovered in Tweed. His logic behind coming forth for his wrongdoings was so it would minimize the impact on his wife. And this is when he was charged with first-degree murder for Camo and Jessica, sexual assault, breaking and entering, and something else. I have a typo. But in the end, it would be a total of 88 charges.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I like 88. It's a good number.
When it comes to the outcome of the search warrants, what was found made this case stand out. At his home, in addition to his camera, a pillowcase and multiple computer boxes contained women's undergarments and clothing was found. Beneath his bed was a bag with a black skull cap and a manual for lockpicking. Hidden in the basement ceiling were 2 computer hard drives containing concealed records. This was his effort to keep this information from his wife of his criminal activities over a 2-year period. His videos were found, and there were thousands of photographs that included the Tweed assaults and the murders.
That's yucky.
In some of the photos, he was posing or masturbating while wearing the girls' underwear.
That's yucky. In
others, he was seen wearing girls' underwear under his military uniform.
Oh. Okay. Like, different strokes for different folks, but, like, no.
If you're going to do that, buy your own shit. Like, as weird as it is, don't go stealing other people's shit.
Yeah, kind of.
It's still weird.
It's still weird.
Yep. On top of that, he'd kept meticulous records of his stolen inventory and detailed accounts for each of his break-ins.
Oh, goody. You made life easier for the police.
Yes, he did. At his cottage, a duffel bag was found, and it was filled with lingerie. He would later say that whenever he left his house at night, the excuse he gave his wife was that he was out walking to stretch his sore back. If my husband pulled that shit, I would be like, you're full of shit. What are you really doing? At least on one occasion, he wore his military uniform during his break-ins.
Oh.
So 6 weeks after his arrest, he signed a domestic contract. This allowed Mary to pay $62,000 cash for their Orleans home and assume the mortgage, and he took sole possession of the cottage. According to her, this move wasn't solely to protect assets from litigation. It was for financial security. He would eventually sell the cottage from behind bars for $165,000 to a neighbor, but funds from that were held in trust pending the outcome of each of his lawsuits.
Oh.
As it should.
Mm-hmm.
This does also mean that Mary filed for divorce, but it would take years for that to go through.
Oh.
He spent 8 months behind bars at the Quint Detention Center, and it was obviously rough. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Over Easter weekend, guards had stopped him from attempting suicide. He had been choking on a cardboard toilet paper tube that he'd shoved down his throat. And after that,
Good
he'd been
choice.
kept under 24-hour watch. And he also engaged in a hunger strike. So between July and October of 2010, Williams had multiple sessions in court, both virtually and in person.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the month, he was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years, and 10 years for each of his 2 sexual assaults, and 1 year for each of his other charges. He was also, of course, registered as a sex offender.
As he should be.
Mm-hmm. And when it came to the service, he was obviously expelled, and the service recovered his pay from the time of his arrest onward, and his medals were removed.
Good.
So remember the sexual assault victims that he didn't kill?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the second victim did come forward to speak publicly about her attack as part of her personal healing.
Good for her.
And this is her story.
That's powerful.
Yes, it is.
Holy smokes.
On September 30th, Lori Massacott was at home, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your last name. She was at home in Tweed when Williams broke into her home, woke her up by hitting her on the head with an object, I'm assuming a flashlight probably,
Mm-hmm.
blindfolded her, tied her up, and then started taking photos during the 2.5-hour sexual assault.
No, thank you.
After he left, he went home to bed and then to work the next day like nothing had happened. At 5 a.m., she managed to make a phone call to 911, still blindfolded.
Mm-hmm.
It was unknown to her who her attacker was until February 7th when Williams talked to the police and admitted what he had done.
Mm-hmm.
He had chosen her because he knew she lived alone. For her attack, he had 3 folders of photographs on his computer and had visited her home twice to scope it out. And then when it comes to the first victims, she will always go by Jane Doe, and I'm always going to respect her for
Good.
that level of anonymity.
Good
that
for
is
her.
right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So in the aftermath, Lori filed a $7 million lawsuit against Williams and Mary in 2011. She argued that Mary was aware of her husband's actions and did nothing about it.
Oh.
She also claimed that Mary benefited financially after his arrest from their marital assets. Mary denied these allegations, saying that Lori provided absolutely no evidence to support her claims. Lori's lawsuit also went after the OPP as they neglected to warn the neighborhood of the attack that had happened 2 weeks prior to her, and they settled out of court later on. And I'm trying to stay neutral when it comes to this comment, but I think it's one of those things where I think it's really hard to warn a community when you're not seeing a trend of something. Like, I can see processing a sexual assault and processing that information and trying to figure out who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as warning a community after that, I don't know. I feel like that's a gray area for me.
I don't know. I feel like if my neighbor got sexually assaulted, I'd want to know about it.
Of course, but as
or
far
someone
as,
in my community, like I don't need to know specifics, obviously, because that's private. That's
Yes.
private information. But it's like hey, there's someone who's going around and breaking into houses. Like,
Yeah.
you would go and you would tell your neighbor,
Yes.
hey, someone's going around to break into houses. I feel like it should be the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a gray area. I don't know what was going on in the police department for sure.
Sure.
But that's my thoughts. But in no way am I minimizing what happened.
No.
So Jane Doe and Jessica Lloyd's family each filed their own lawsuits against Williams and Mary, in 2014, and they were settled with undisclosed payments. So, and I'm almost done. So
Yeah, you're good.
Williams is now serving out his time in the maximum security prison, Port Cartier in Quebec. And in November of 2010, an outdoor memorial service was held for Marie-France Comeau. And this part, like, an ad astra stone, so it's a gravestone for Canadian Air Force members, a bench, and a tree were all part of this ceremony.
That's awesome.
Funds for the items were provided by the 437 Squadron, donations from her neighbors, and the local community. These items were chosen so that all visitors to this spot may be reminded of this extraordinary, loving, and caring member of the Squadron family. Moreover, they dedicated the bench and the tree in her memory in hopes that the bench may offer visitors a place of meaningful repose and somber reflection, and that the tree may grow and bloom forever, offering a tangible living reminder of the lost colleague.
I like that.
Her family was consulted on the event, but declined to attend. However, they were pleased that she was being honored. And she was described as brave, amiable, charismatic, with a healthy zest for life, and in everything that she did.
Mm-hmm.
She was fun-loving and kept her coworkers on their toes with her mischievous ways, and her smile was infectious and made a positive impression on everyone she came across.
That's fantastic.
So not only was the memorial in honor of Comeau, but they recognized Jessica Lloyd as well.
Good.
Quote, the 437 Squadron also grieve with Jessica Lloyd's friends and family and offer them our heartfelt support. Like Marie-France, Jessica was equally valiant in the face of evil and will be remembered as such by all of us, end quote. And as far as Jessica goes, because I have to end on her and not jerkface,
please and thank you.
Jessica was known for her unique sense of humor with quick one-liners and funny comments. Before her passing, she'd gone to college for business administration and earned her degree in 2003. She eventually became a transit planner at Tri-Board Student Transportation Services. I'm assuming that was like for the bus going around. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
And loved the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sorry. Well, Leafs. I know you like the Boston Bruins, so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Original Six rivalry. We will never get along. We will never see eye to eye. It's okay.
Her dad was a Navy veteran who died when she was 13. So when Air Force personnel showed up at her funeral with black armbands and fell in line with officers from several officers from several other places, her family said she would have loved that.
I love that.
So just for anyone who's not aware, because I personally wasn't aware, the Canadian Forces use black armbands. Oh, this is going to make me... The Canadian Forces use black armbands to signify the mourning and respect for fallen comrades. She was proud of the men and women in uniform.
I love that. That's a great way to end that. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
That was brutal. So that is the icky story, but let's always remember Jessica Lloyd and Corporal Marie-France Comeau.
Amen.
All right.
Whew. Okay.
That was a heavy one.
That was a heavy one.
But we have one more book for 2025. What you got for me?
I was about to say I got to pull out the phone because I'm listening to this one.
Ooh. So excited.
So let's see. We love listening to books. I love listening to books at least.
Oh, I listened to The Tenant by Frida McFadden earlier this year.
You listened to a book?
Shut it.
Wow.
I did. It happens every once in a while. I'm not anti that. My focus just drifts.
No, I understand that. That's totally fine. Okay, so I'm listening to these on Libro FM.
Mhm.
Love Libro FM. We've definitely said that once or
Yes.
twice before.
Yep.
Makes life so, okay. Anywho, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Never heard of this author before, so I'm pretty excited to see what's going to go on. All right, so Rock, Paper, Scissors is the exciting domestic thriller from the queen of the killer twist, New York Times best-selling author Alice Feeney. Excuse me. Think you know the person you married? Think again.
Mm-hmm.
Things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright, spelled with a W, for a long time. When Adam and Amelia win a weekend away to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. Self-confessed workaholic and screenwriter Adam Wright has lived with face blindness his whole life. He can't recognize friends or family or even his own wife. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts: paper, cotton, pottery, tin. And each year, Adam's wife writes him a letter that she never lets him read. Until now. They both know this weekend will make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget.
Oh boy. What are you getting me into, Alexa? What
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Oh boy, here we go. We're going to end the year on a bang, clearly.
Yes, we are. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I love it. All right.
Mhm.
Well, happy birthday one more time.
Yay, birthday month.
Happy little dance. Where can people find us?
Well, you can listen to our episodes on Spotify and YouTube at Books, Booze, Murder. We post all of the other stuff on Instagram at Books, Booze, Murder and TikTok at Books, Booze, Murder Pod.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Toodles.